Well, y'all know why y'all clicked on this video. I just got finished watching Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz. It literally finished about 20 minutes ago. I just watched it, and y'all know Jake Paul won by decision. I predicted right. I predicted Jake Paul to win by decision, and I got it right. I didn't think Nate was going to get knocked out, because Nate's never been knocked out. But I didn't think Nate was going to be able to pressure Jake enough to finish him. But what we're going to be talking about today is, what did we learn from Jake's performance against Nate Diaz? What has he improved in? What has he not improved in since Tommy Fury? What is his asset and what is his downfall? That's what we're going to talk about. First up, fair play to both of them. They got in there. They went to war at some points. But I feel like there's very, very obvious parts that stick out. Things we learned. I think we learned Jake Paul struggled with pressure again. When Nate Diaz put the pressure on Jake Paul, he struggled. He backed down. He kind of put his hands up. He didn't really do much. He did throw out of it sometimes. He threw like a left hook, uppercut, moved out. It was depending on which way he was fighting. Now, there was a lot of times in the fight Jake Paul was jabbing, and there was a lot of times in the fight Jake Paul was trying to brawl Nate Diaz, which is not the good idea. When Jake Paul, which I thought was the big mistake, was trying to fight and brawl Nate Diaz, and they were going head to head, they were tucked up like this close to each other. I think Jake was getting some nice shots, some nice uppercuts, but Nate Diaz was winning the majority of those exchanges because he knows how to use clinch work. That's what he was doing. He knew how to score the points on it. It doesn't matter if they were hurting Jake Paul, they were scoring the points. That's what Nate Diaz was trying to do. And Jake kept falling into that. Every time Nate Diaz came forward, Jake kept coming forward, trying to go head-to-head with him, try to exchange those shots, but it doesn't matter because you're not knocking out Nate Diaz, and he's going to score points. He's going to have volume in that clinch because he understands how to work the clinch better than you do. So I think Jake just made a mistake on that. When he did that, that was his big mistake. When he jabbed, he had his most success. Now, a couple things we learned. Like I said, we already knew Jake Paul struggled with pressure. We saw it again when Nate Diaz did that. He struggled with pressure. There was times he worked his way out. There was times he really struggled with it. But either way, he did struggle with the pressure for the most part, which we already knew. One thing that I think we did learn, though, is when Jake uses his jab, he can actually box a little bit. You know? He's actually decent. When he boxed Anderson Silva, he boxed him. When I watched this fight, in the back of my head, every time he was trying to fight Nate Diaz, like he was trying to fight Tyron Woodley, like he was trying to fight Tommy Fury, he was feeling. Nate Diaz was putting the pressure on. He was backing him down. He was winning those exchanges. But when Jake Paul decided, right, let me jab, let me box you, because we're in a boxing ring. You're a fighter. I don't want to fight you. I don't want to brawl you, because that's your game. I brought you to boxing so I could box you. So let me box you. And whenever he did that, and he fought the way he did against Anderson Silva, behind his jab a little bit, through combos, he was having success. He was sticking and moving. There was points Jake Paul literally was hitting some nice combos. He was jab, 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 right hand. There was times he was getting the left hook, right uppercut. He was landing some nice shots, working to the body a little bit. Jake was actually doing good when he was sticking on his jab, when he was actually boxing. And another good thing is, Jake Paul usually starts off very flat-footed, very slow. Jake knew when he came out, Nate Diaz is going to pick up momentum as the fight goes on, so I need to get momentum now. Jake came out first round, came out on momentum, took the first round. Nate Diaz got his wind in the second round, and that's whenever Nate Diaz took the second round, and that's whenever Jake started to realize, okay, this is the pressure he's going to bring, all this, and Jake did struggle with it throughout the fight, but that's when Jake clocked, right, this is his game plan. He's going to come in, he's going to try and brawl him, he's going to put the pressure on, clinch work, all that. Continued on, was a very back and forth fight. I do agree Jake Paul won by decision. I think Jake Paul won convincingly by decision. I don't really know how many rounds I would give Nate Diaz, but I know Jake Paul definitely won. It was obvious that he won. I think two of the judges had it 98 and 91 or something like that. You know, it was a considerable lead. Also considering in the fifth round, Jake Paul didn't knock out Nate Diaz, but he knocked Nate Diaz down with a nice left hook right on the temple. And that was one of those ones, that was the only shot that properly hurt Nate Diaz. There was times Jake hit Diaz and he was a little bit hurt, he stumbled back a little bit, blah, blah, blah. The majority of times he stumbled, he was just taunting, he was just fucking about. trying to piss off Jake, trying to get him to come in, doing a Nate Diaz style. But he did hit him with that nice little left hook and sent him to the floor. Almost sent him out of the ring, actually. And, you know, overall, Jake's performance, like I said, boxing. When he boxed, he had success. When he brawled, he didn't. He relied on the right hand too much in some cases, and that was his issue against Tommy Fury. He thought, oh, I can go in against the boxer, and I can rely on my right hand, and that's it. We all thought, at least I thought, Jake was going to go in against the likes of Tommy Fury and do what he did against Anderson Silva, which was kind of box, put some combos together. Didn't really do that. Kind of relied on the right hand. There was times in this fight he tried to rely on the right hand, and it didn't go his way. When he stayed behind his jab, when he put combos together, that's when he had success. He stuck and moved. He was scoring points. He was hitting some good shots. If that was anybody else but Nate Diaz, I believe Jake Paul probably would have knocked them out. Genuinely, some of those shots that Jake was hitting, if that was anybody else, they would have been done. But Nate Diaz is just a fucking zombie and walks forward. And Jake, literally, Logan wrestled at SummerSlam, flew over. Logan could have brought a fucking steel chair from the fucking WWE arena, passed it to Jake middle fucking match. Jake could have turned around, bang, over the head, Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz probably still would have fucking walked forward, just pissing blood. I'm actually very surprised Nate Diaz wasn't pissing blood the entire time. I'm very surprised. But yeah, overall, Jake, behind the jab, combos, good. When you rely on your right hand, when you try to brawl, bad. Don't try to do that shit. I like the fact he was on his toes. He was bouncing up and down, he was on his toes. He jab, boom, moved out. He got out. What I think he really needs to work on, he really needs to work on clinch work, and he really needs to work on pressure. He needs to work on being able to handle pressure when someone's walking him down with that intent to try and brawl him. He needs to understand and be like, right, I'm either going to learn to fight you or completely, every single time you come forward, get out of my way. He needs to learn clinch work. Now, it's hard to out-clinch Nate Diaz because Nate Diaz understands all that shit. Nate Diaz was getting in the clinch, bang, 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 even though they weren't hard, throwing uppercuts, doing all that. Jake was hitting him a couple times in the body, but a lot of times Jake was just wrapping him up. Jake wasn't trying to get free score points, and that's what I think is one of the cases, is the clinch work. When there's going to be a lot of clinching, you're going to have to do the clinch work. Clinch work can be very good. You can position people the way you want, which Nate Diaz was kind of doing to Jake throughout the fight. And that was really putting Jake under pressure, and that's whenever Jake struggled. Nate Diaz, I think, could have done more if he didn't taunt, but either way, I think Jake deserved the win. He was the better fighter. He had a good job, good combos. And you know what? Fair play to him. When I heard this fight was 10 rounds, I was very interested because I know Nate runs triathlons and he has the stamina for this shit. Jake has only ever fought 8 rounds. He's fought it a couple times, but those 2 extra rounds are a big difference. And although, don't get me wrong, Jake Paul was tired going into that 10th round. I'm sure he was absolutely knackered, but he actually had decent volume in the 10th round. You know, Nate Diaz didn't really do too much until like the last 30 seconds, I think it was, put pressure on. But Jake actually had decent volume in the 10th round, which was good. Now, obviously, it was the last of his energy, but he understood, right, it's 10th round, I still have energy. I can do this. And I assume that because Jake was in the best shape of his life for this fight that I've ever fucking seen him, that a lot of us has ever seen him. He's always been in good shape, but he was in the best shape of his life. But the question was, can you go the extra 2 rounds? And we got our answer. He can fight 10 rounds. Maybe if it's someone who's putting a little bit, maybe against Tommy Fury, maybe not. But he was able to fight 10 rounds. He was able to do all that. Like I said, pressure was a problem. But he pulled the decision off. Sorry, the camera had an issue there. But yes, down to it, the question lies, what's next for Jake Paul? He got asked, is there anybody? He mentioned, yeah, there's a couple people why he wants that Tommy rematch. Now, I don't think Jake's ready for that Tommy rematch. I don't know if Jake will ever be ready for that Tommy rematch. Like, let's make that clear. The first fight, yes, I picked Jake to beat Tommy Fury. I thought he was going to catch Tommy with a right hand. I thought Tommy was underestimating. Tommy came out, won the fight convincingly. There was a lot of holes in Tommy's game, in my opinion. I don't think he performed amazingly, but he dominated Jake Paul for the most part. I don't think Jake Paul, like I said, I don't know if he'll be ready, but right now he's not ready for Tommy. He's still making too many mistakes. He's still relying on his right hand too much. He's still bad under pressure. He needs to fix all that. But one thing I will say is I'm glad Shane told him, because obviously Shane Mosley's back in his camp. I'm glad Shane Mosley told him, actually use your jab. Your best performance ever was against Anderson Silva. No one fought. Against Woodley, some people believe you'd win. Against Ben Askren, we all knew you'd win. Against Nate Robinson, we all knew you'd win. When you fought Anderson Silva, I said he has to knock Anderson Silva out because he's not. There's no way in hell he's going to outbox him, and he outboxed him. So he said to him, "Look, when you box, you actually have success." Because I'm not saying Jake's. I say this all the time. I'm not saying Jake's world class. I'm not saying he's going to be a champion. But Jake is a decent boxer. For YouTube, very good. For pro boxing in general, he's decent. You know, you can't take away from him. When he does the right things, he does them well. It's just he doesn't do the right things all the time, and that's his issue. He gets a bit too reliant on that right hand, and that's what's cost him a lot of things. It helped him in the Tyron Woodley fight. Tyron Woodley 1 fight, he beat Tyron Woodley, but none of them had an amazing performance. Tyron Woodley 2 fight, he was probably losing that fight, and then the right hand saved him, but you can't rely on the right hand to save you all the time. Sometimes it's going to go to decision, sometimes you're going to have to box them, and you showed that when you do box, you have success, so stick to it. So that's everything, man. Sorry, this camera keeps cutting out, man. Yes, that is my whole analysis of all of that. I think Jake did well when he boxed. When he tried the brawl, land the right hand, didn't work. Nate Diaz, obviously, very awkward boxing style, very awkward fighter. Jake Paul struggled with the pressure. But then again, Nate Diaz did have an awkward style, so a lot of people struggle with that, but he needs to fix up the pressure, clean up the clinch work, in my opinion, and just need to stay behind the jab. Get rid of this ego of the right hand. We know you have power in the right hand, but it's not always going to get the chance. If you box, if you stay behind your jab and you throw combos, that right hand's going to. When you box Anderson Silva, again, you threw combos, and then you threw a combo, and at the end of that combo, that's when the opening was for the right hand. But if you're constantly just throwing the right hand, jab, right hand, it ain't going to open, most likely. But if you throw combos, you will open it for yourself. So he needs the box. That's it. That's my whole thing. Jake has proven if he sticks to that game plan, he can actually do shit. And that's what I want to see Jake do. I want to see him go into this camp with momentum, say, right, we got the Tommy Fury loss out of the way. We've won. We're back on our feet. We've learned some things from this fight, and this is what we're going to do. This is what worked for us, and this is what didn't work. This is what we need to work on, and I hope he cleans that all up. I don't know who he'll fight next. I don't want to see him fight Fury next, even if he wants a rematch. I think Jake, if he really wants the rematch, fight at least 1 or 2 more fights before you fight Fury again. If you're going to fight Fury, go in against Fury in a boxing style, but also be able to work. If you learn your clinch work, that will benefit you. But box at least 1 or 2 people first. I don't care if it's MMA fighters or whatever. Box them. Maybe a lower level pro boxer will be good. I don't know. But yeah, that's my whole breakdown of the whole fucking fight. He knocked Nate Diaz down. That was pretty cool. And yeah, Jake Paul wins again. Shockingly. Well, not shockingly. I kind of knew it was going to happen. But Jake Paul wins again. A lot of people are going to be pissed probably, but it is what it is. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed as always. Hope you all think positive and test negative. Hope you all have an amazing day. Let me know what you think of the video. Let me know what you thought of the fight. Did you enjoy it? What fight was your favorite? That Amanda Serrano versus Hardy fight, by the way, I'm not going to get too much into it. Absolutely fucking amazing. Hats off to both of those women. They're absolute fucking warriors, and they deserve to be paid even more than they fucking were. Women's boxing is fucking amazing. Absolutely amazed. 100% hats off to them. But yes, let me know what you thought of the fight. Let me know what you thought of all the fights. And yeah, stay safe as always. And I'll see you in the next one. So, peace.